Peace and blessings, family. Family, I need you to pause for a second. First of all, this is your brother Yaya with another episode of Buried in a Shallow Grave. And I appreciate you, family, for showing up. Without you, family, I would not be here. Meaning in terms of my growth, the output, the people I'm able to talk to, I wouldn't be at that level if it were not for your support. So I thank you so much. And we know Allah is the best knower. Family, I need you to pause for a second and picture something with me. Just for a moment. Picture us a little less than a year from now, standing in 2026. What will we have built by then? This is a question for me. This is a question for us. Because when people hear about Black Wall Street, I told you in our last live, they think about Tulsa, 1921. They think about Greenwood, about the bombs, about the massacre. And yes, we must honor that history because that is exactly what happened. But if all we ever do is repeat the pain, then we'll never step into the power of how to fix that pain, right? So that's what the resurrection class is going to focus on today. I'm not here to just tell you what was destroyed um, in Oklahoma. I'm here to show you, family, what we can do to rebirth that idea. I'm here to talk about what I call Black Wall Street 2026. A vision of where we can go from being what we are now to next. And how we take everyday hustles that we have and turn them into systems, lasting systems. Let me give you something to think about. Okay? The hustle is what we give you and it keeps you alive, right? The hustle is what keeps you alive. The system is what keeps you free once you learn how to build your own. We've never lacked hustle, family. We always had hustle. Hustle has never been a problem. But hustle without systems, it'll burn you out. Systems let you breathe. They give you time to figure other things out. Systems let you grow. And systems are what make a community wealthy, not just individuals. We're not talking about individualism. That's why we need to stop asking, who got money? And start asking, who builds systems? Okay? So let's start small. Right in the neighborhood that we live in, think about the barber. Think about it. We talked about this. While you're thinking about that, family, I'm going to give you a second to think about it. Now you think about it. You think about it, family. You take a barber, for instance, and he's cutting he's cutting heads 5, 6 days a week. Friday, Saturday, the shop is jumping. Money flowing in, people lined up. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. Most barbers still relying on walk-ins, still scribbling names in a notebook, still stressing when folks start canceling, they start losing business. I have a Muslim brother that I know that is stationed in Denver. Shout out Supreme Style Muhammad. But this brother is so disciplined in his work that, you know, you can pretty much schedule an appointment with this man any day of the week, and he's got all these slots open, and he never misses money, and he's not chasing money. And that's very important when you're in business. Here's the problem, family. Most barbers do chase money. They do walk-ins, which is cool, but it's like I said, it's like scribbling names in a notebook, and you still stressed out at the end of the day because you've lost customers doing it that way. That's hustle. That's not system. Okay. Now imagine the same barber owning the booking app I told you about. I think it was last month. That every barber in the city uses. Every barber in the city uses. Imagine every haircut in town going through this software. His calendar, his payment system. He's not just making money with the clippers that he has. He's making money while he's doing a multiplicity of things and while other barbers are cutting. He's not just surviving on the chair rent that he make, whether it's $100, $200 a head, whatever it is. That's not his only source of income. He's building an asset he can sell, scale, and pass down. Okay? See, that's the shift that I want us to take from hustler to system owner. And that, family, that is gonna make us become that Black Wall Street that we want to be in 2026. Okay? Somebody right now who's throwing down on some plates in the kitchen. Every week they do this. Maybe it's wings one week, and maybe it's like, salad fries next week. Maybe it's, beef oxtail one week, and maybe it's a vegetable with brown rice the next week. Maybe it's peach cobbler one week that's so good it'll make you want to slap somebody. But here's the issue, family. They're exhausted. They cooking, answering texts, juggling, cash app funds, trying to get food delivered at the same time, trying to keep the food hot before the person get there. By Sunday night, they done made a little money, but they burn themselves out and ain't got no time to spend it. I know because I've been there. And that's why I'm sharing this information with you. Now picture this. Instead of the 5 cooks all struggling on their own, they come together. One does seafood, one does vegan, one does desserts, and they rent, one shared kitchen. 2 days a week. They're not even doing it on full time. It's just 2 days a week right now. They set pickup times. They launch a simple website with a QR code on the flyer. And if you don't know how to do that and you would like to learn, I would like to teach you. But suddenly, family, Suddenly they're not five scattered hustlers. Suddenly they have a structured delivery co-op plan, a system. They look at a black-owned Uber Eats and they remind themselves that, they're in the right direction. And their stress is cut in half. Their reach doubled up. And why? The food didn't change. The cooks didn't change. The system changed. And that's the step we got to take. We got to change our system. We got to opt out of old systems that don't work for us, family. And we have to learn how to opt into these newer systems that do work for us. One of them is building our own system. Now let's talk about the young ones, these teenagers right now in every city making TikTok videos, YouTube videos, editing reels, building YouTube shorts with nothing but a phone. I told you, I just broke my phone. I'm on my laptop now, but I just broke my phone, building. And some of them people I'm telling you about, they end up going viral. They get millions and millions of views, right? But what happens next? They hit a ceiling because they don't own nothing. Excuse me. And here's where it gets real serious. You want to not make those mistakes, family. 10 young creators come together, not just doing their own thing, but sharing equipment, editors, and strategy. They all come together to do this. They keep their unique style, but now they negotiate, kind of like Kevin Hart and the other brothers, the other two comedian brothers, and one of them I believe is a content creator. I can't think of his name, but shout out to him because I respect his method of system creating. And I've heard that he's built a school for streamers. If anybody knows his name, you can put it in the comment section. Shout out to brother. But they keep their unique style and they negotiate brand deals as a group. They launch joint podcast series. They sell their own merch under their own umbrella. They don't have nobody over them. What do you call that? That's not just TikToks. That's Black Media Network. Okay? Now, attention without a system dies quick, man. I've done it, and it was a waste of time. But attention with a system becomes a platform that feeds generations. Let me shift gears right quick, family. We got black farmers across America, in this country, in Georgia, North Carolina, even Colorado, growing collards, tomatoes, beans, raising livestock. But you know the struggle that I've seen? It seems like they can't move it. The big grocery stores won't stock it. The middlemen underpay them. And it just seems like it becomes more of a hassle and a hustle than a system. So what would be a system that you could put in place right there? Well, I can tell you right now, building a regional food hub would be one of my ideas. That means when a farmer grows, the distribution is already waiting. Picture this: QR codes at the corner store linking you directly to that farmer's produce. A shared truck that makes weekly runs from farm to city that have used that QR code now you have a system going. Pop-up markets in church parking lots that sell produce straight from the end. Think about it. It's not just farming, family. That's food circulation system that you have created. That's Black Wall Street 2026. Feeding itself. Okay? I just want you to think with me, family. But we're gonna go live again this evening. I'm gonna get back to doing some other things that I need to do, but I had to tell you that. I had to give you that piece of information. I see it as something that we need to do, and the sooner we get to doing it, the better. This is your brother Yaya with another episode of Buried in a Shallow Grave, and I thank you all for tuning in. Peace.